Good morning, everyone, and happy St. Patrick's Day. Welcome to Automation Alley's virtual tech takeover hosted by Markforged. I'm Allison Trumbull, account executive here at Automation Alley. And if you're not familiar, we are Michigan's Industry 4.0 Knowledge Center and a World Economic Forum Advanced Manufacturing Hub, or AMP Hub. We here at Automation Alley obsess over disruptive technologies like blockchain, 3D printing, and AI. Our goal is to take these complex concepts and make them easier for companies and individuals to understand and implement. We work with a wide range of companies, from those that are grasping this concept of digitization to thought leaders and innovators in Industry 4.0. So we do this by hosting a plethora of events, currently virtual, hopefully in person soon, and obtaining content from every aspect of industry and academia to give businesses a competitive advantage and help them along their digital transformation journey. So if you have any questions about Automation Alley, any of our events or products or membership, please don't hesitate to reach out and I'd be more than happy to chat with you. Our tech takeover this morning is brought to you by one of our foundation members, Manpower. Manpower Group provides administrative and support services, professional services, and business services through its four primary brands: Manpower, Experius, Right Management, and Manpower Group Solutions. If you have any questions regarding them or any workforce consulting, training, or development services, you can actually find contact information on the Tech Takeover information page for today. Now on to our company presenting this morning. Markforged is changing the pace of invention with the Digital Forge, an intuitive additive manufacturing platform powering engineers, designers, and manufacturing professionals all over the world. This platform seamlessly combines best-in-class machines, software, and both metal and composite material to empower engineers and designers to go from a design to a functional part more efficiently. Today's topic is going to be Project DIAMOnD, which stands for Distributed Independent Agile Manufacturing on Demand. We'll be discussing the adoption of the Digital Forge in an effort to usher in Industry 4.0 amongst the digital community. Specifically today, we'll be talking about Southeastern Michigan while simultaneously preparing to support the production of PPE using 3D printing. Today we're going to be hearing from a few people from Markforged. Starting us off will be Michael Papish, VP of Marketing, Mike Cady, Director, and lastly Zach Rosenwig, Success Manager, who will be interviewing 3 Project DIAMOnD companies to talk about their current 3D printing journeys. Don't forget throughout the presentation to use the Q&A chat function at the bottom of your screen to type in questions. We actually will be answering those live throughout the presentation. So be sure to ask those. We won't be doing a Q&A at the end. I will now turn it over to Michael Papish to give you some history on Markforged.
Hello there. This is Michael Papish with Markforged, the VP of Marketing over here. And I want to take some time today to talk a bit about the story of us. Before I get in, I actually want to tell a bit of a story. And this is a story about a technology that I think has the potential to completely change the world around us and the things that we build. It's a technology that has the potential of fundamentally altering the productivity of how we work and really the culture of factories and manufacturing. Ultimately, I think it's a technology that can usher in a full industrial revolution. And of course, you're probably assuming that we're talking about electricity. Perhaps you thought I was going to go with additive there. I want to actually spend a little bit of time looking backwards before we look forward and really see the history of the last great industrial revolution and what caused it and how it happened to see what we can learn about today. And really, when you think about the sort of the story of the last great industrial revolution, there was actually about a 40-year gap from the invention of electricity. And feel free to name your favorite inventor of electricity. Every country has their own. But really, around 1880 or so, we discovered electricity. But it wasn't until about 1920 that really the equipment in a factory was actually powered by electricity. And in those intervening 40 years, there was really a lot of learning that had to take place about how to really commercialize the potential of this technology and harness it for industrial use. And so if we look at the data here on the left is a chart of the equipment in a factory and what percentage of it is powered by steam versus electricity. And you'll see that over the course of the 1900s, it really wasn't until about 1919 or so that more than half of the equipment in a factory was now powered by electricity, not steam. And when that tipping point occurred, you can see here on the right, really those giant leaps in productivity gains that we today ascribe to the Industrial Revolution that's really built our modern world. And it's kind of also interesting to note that ultimately these gains in productivity, while the investments that are going on in factories are really happening with capital equipment, it's ultimately actually the human labor and productivity that generates the giant leaps and gains that we see in the world around us. So ultimately, we're changing over the factory and the means of production, but with the goal of making the workers, the people that actually work in the factory, more productive and ultimately capable of building things faster and building more things. And so what is actually going on in these 40 years? It's really a process of having to learn how to think differently, of overcoming the constraints that sometimes you forget even exist, to understand and unlock the full potential of a new technology. And so if you look at how a steam-powered factory might operate, and we have a picture of one right here, you'll see that it's ultimately a pretty difficult place to work. So steam-powered factories were loud, noisy, dirty, really hard places to work. And every single piece of equipment in the factory had to be attached to one of these long-running turbines that ran up and down the full length. What this meant was that really you organized the factory not around what was best for the people and what they were trying to build, but around the power source. And you'll see, things were very manual in these factories. On the left, there's two guys carrying something around. They're kind of the modern equivalent of a forklift. In the front, we have these two guys in top hats. I like to think of this as kind of the CFO, right? Even back in the good old days, you still had a CFO walking around making sure this thing was generating profit and working well. But really, this factory was highly inefficient. If you wanted to run one part of the factory, you had to run the whole thing. There's no way to separate the power source from the cells that were inside of the factory. And really, there's a lot of wasted energy. So ultimately, I think as we imagine how to apply the lessons of the past to the world that we live in today, that we can find many parallels in the transition from steam-powered factories to electrical factories, and really the ways that people had to learn how to harness the technology and use it differently. And I think when we talk about this term Industry 4.0, or a revolution in how we make things, ultimately it's going to be about changing the culture of how people think about manufacturing and building in order for us to really reap the gains that these revolutions promise us. So this may beg the question, if we're setting out to fundamentally change the way that manufacturing works, why? Why does manufacturing need to transform? As a consumer today, I can go on Amazon and really almost anything I can imagine, I can get shipped to me in 2 days. For those of you out there in the audience, who are manufacturers, I think you know much more about all the constraints and the limitations. But even here, sometimes it's hard to reimagine really the full potential of what we could do if only we could remove the constraints of traditional and conventional manufacturing to allow us to really build anything that we imagine. And so ultimately, we live in a very dynamic world. And what I mean by that is, as a manufacturer nowadays, it's not necessarily the case that by just being able to produce a high volume of goods at a low price that you will win. In reality, there are many other things that you have to be able to do to succeed as a manufacturer today. Now, before the pandemic, these were still the case. After the pandemic, I think it's pretty starkly shown why many of our strategies for optimizing supply chains are not very resilient or adaptive to our modern and dynamic world. Certainly during the pandemic, we witnessed supply chain shocks. Even basic materials we found were out of stock, just by the fact that not that we couldn't manufacture it, but we couldn't manufacture it in the right way, right? There wasn't enough toilet paper in our stores because too much of the toilet paper was being packaged for business use where none of us were actually living or working. Same thing with grocery shelves, things like flour. We had plenty of flour. It was just being used in the industrial setting for commercial kitchens and not available to regular people to buy and bring home during the beginning of the pandemic. These are just two kind of examples of how the modern world throws at us things that we need to figure out how to adapt to. And this includes, trends larger and different than just a pandemic. I mean, things such as tariffs, labor strifes, difficulties with shipments. All of these contribute to making it the need of the modern manufacturer to build more resilient and agile supply chains to meet the needs of our dynamic world. Now, the exciting thing about this is that we see from customers who have adopted Markforged technology and additive that ultimately it's not just about saving cost, it's actually about creating competitive advantage. And so ultimately, we believe that the adoption of Markforged technology and additive more broadly will provide you and manufacturers a way to stand out, a way to meet consumer demand faster and better than your competitors, and ultimately to give you capability sets that are not possible with traditional manufacturing technologies. Now, what do we mean by reinventing manufacturing? At the end of the day, the revolution that we're looking to inspire is really bringing the last great technology that's really changed our world, software and connected software and the internet, to the world of physical manufacturing. And we have a sort of an origin story here at Markforged. We have two co-founders, Greg, an aeronautics engineer from MIT, who has amazing mechanical engineering capabilities and can really build almost anything, and David, a software engineer from MIT. And I love the story that David tells. When he was a student at MIT, he was working on the BattleBots program, which is basically making robots that compete with each other. And he had this observation, which was that when he was working in software, he had complete control and command of his universe. He could make servers just appear virtually out of anywhere. He could rewrite his entire environment. He could completely change the code that he was working on and iterate super fast. But then when he would go and try to work in the physical world, all of a sudden he'd have to order a part, wait 6 weeks, hope it was the right one. If it wasn't, he had to reorder it and wait for it to come in. All of a sudden, it's like his superpowers were taken away. It's like there was kryptonite in the room, and his speed of innovation and his agility completely went down. And so here at Markforged, we believe that if we can bring the power of agile, connected software to the world of physical manufacturing, we can create one of those productivity leaps that really ushers in a new age of manufacturing. So in order to do that, what do we actually make here at Markforged? Yes, we make 3D printers, but I think it's actually a lot more than that. Ultimately, we make the Digital Forge, and the Digital Forge is a platform. It's comprised of precise and reliable 3D printers, materials that span the range from composites and reinforcement carbon fiber and continuous fibers, all the way to metal, and cloud software that connects it all together. And ultimately, it's the fact that this is a uniform and integrated platform that will scale over time with a single workflow that we believe best meets the needs of manufacturers. Ultimately, we believe that both manufacturers and Markforged are on a journey to create a better and better additive solutions. And we think that by provisioning a platform that our customers invest in and begin to use, we can take that platform and scale its capability set over time, allowing us to bring new innovations and new capabilities while supporting the journey of our customers as they adopt additive across their entire organization. And so really it's the idea of offering a solution that scales over time that will allow us to meet the future needs of manufacturing. So the Digital Forge is the name of our platform. We built it to work today and deliver real value, but we designed it to scale into the future and to meet your needs where you're going. So therefore, what is it that we actually provide here at Markforged? We provide real and tangible ROI today so that you can unleash the full potential of your employees. And really what we mean by that is our solution and our platform, if you have supply chain challenges you're trying to solve, we think that we can show how the Digital Forge can solve real applications today, earning back ROI and delivering real value so that the product you buy today has tangible value. It's not just for R&D or prototyping. You can place this into production and yield real results immediately. However, a story that we often hear is that our customers will come to us with one really sticky problem, right? It's this one part. When it breaks, the entire line goes down. It's super annoying. You have to order it from far away. It's really expensive. Everyone's really annoyed. You don't want to keep a lot of these parts on hand. It's just a really, really annoying problem to deal with. And if you can solve it with our platform, all of a sudden you've turned that problem into a great cost and time savings, and you can show ROI on the purchase immediately. However, once you solve that problem, you'll notice that the people around you start to wonder, what's going on with that printer over there? And all of a sudden, you'll start to see many more problems that you can also solve by printing them instead of manufacturing them or ordering them traditional ways. And over time, you'll find more and more places to continually use the technology and scale up the use cases. And that's ultimately what we believe will create a future where there'll be massive productivity gains and really unleashing the creative potential of all the people in your organization to solve problems using our technology. Now, what underlies the Digital Forge and how do we think about what makes it special and useful? We have a set of pillars that come together to demonstrate how the Digital Forge works. First, it's robust. And what we mean by this, it's reliable. And, I think in some technology categories, it's not necessarily differentiating to say that your product actually works. Here in the world of additive, I think there are a lot of people that have come before us who have maybe brought technologies to market that weren't yet ready for real industrial use. And so the first aspect of our platform is that it is robust. It's ready for the factory floor. It is reliable. It will do what you want it to do. Next, it's simple and easy to use. So you don't need 10 years of experience in additive. It is simple. It works just like other modern technology. You can connect to it via the cloud. You can access it via your Chrome browser. It feels like modern software, and it's easy and accessible to use. However, it's smart, and that makes it powerful. And so as you use the system and as you get a chance to use Eiger, our software, you'll start to see how it automatically configures itself to make the best print and also offers you settings that allow you to print better. And over time, we roll out more and more features that make the platform even better, more capable. And ultimately, if we do this correctly, the Digital Forge in our platform is empowering, meaning that it gives you the tools that you need to solve the hard problems and ultimately unleash the potential of your company to really build anything that you imagine. Now, it's not just us saying this. So if we talk to customers all the time, we love to hear from you and see how the technology is working and what you think about it. But when we think about the idea of being robust, this is this notion that the system, you can set it up, walk away, let it run overnight, and it prints exactly what you expect it to. When you turn to this tool, it does what you need. You don't have to futz with it and figure out how to tune it and make sure that it's just right. We take care of all that for you so that you can rely on this tool for industrial use cases. When we think about being simple, a lot of this is really baked into the user experience. having one single optimized workflow across all the materials and printers that we provide, having the ability to access this anywhere in the world across all your facilities, and multiple users, just like the way that your company actually runs. One of my favorite features is just the simple 5-star print rating. When you complete a print, a little dialog box pops up on the printer and says, how good was the print? 1 to 5 stars, just like giving a Yelp review. It's that easy to give us feedback, and that data comes back into the system. And because it's smart, we use that data to make the printers print better the next time. There also are a bunch of other very smart features built into the system. So for example, our printer, our X7 printer, has the ability to automatically calibrate itself. There are sensors on the printer that over time we will be using more and more to gather data in real time about the prints and then optimize and make it better, essentially closing the loop on manufacturing. We have the ability to monitor your material usage in real time. There are APIs available if you need telemetry data. We provide live build monitoring so you can get actual pictures of your print being made. And ultimately, the system is future-proofed. A lot of capital equipment, depreciates in value over time. We always say that with Markforged, really, your printer is its worst on the first day you install it because the software that it comes with keeps making it better and better over time. And then finally, it's empowering. And we hear this from our customers. So these are some quotes from Caldwell Manufacturing. They're a window and door manufacturer in New Jersey that is 130 years old. I actually just found out recently that all the windows on the Statue of Liberty were actually manufactured by Caldwell when that was first installed. And they still maintain those windows. And they use Markforged technology to allow them to really change the curve on manufacturing. And so they now solve problems that would have taken them weeks with traditional manufacturing technology in mere days using our printers. And ultimately, this quote on the right from Eric, the CEO of Caldwell, it has actually increased engagement and reduced turnover. It's actually part of their culture now. And this, I think, is really powerful. A lot of times, new technology, automated technology, we're fearful that it might displace jobs. But in reality, we see customers using our technology to make people more productive and more engaged at work because they're solving more interesting problems and leaving kind of the boring stuff to the printer so they don't have to deal with it as much. And this is exactly what we want to hear, this idea that what we're actually doing isn't just selling printers. It's actually changing the culture of manufacturers, which is ultimately how we get to things like industrial revolution. So again, if we're looking at the pillars, robust, simple, smart, and empowering, this is the formula that we use to deliver success. Now, we believe that the world of additive is going big places. And so you may have seen recently some news from us. Our company will be going public over the next couple of months, and we're really gearing up for the next phase of our growth. And the thesis behind this really is that additive technology is moving away from R&D and prototyping, really crossing the chasm into real production use cases. And these are the use cases that we are actually delivering today here at Markforged. It's not just about the future. We're solving real tangible problems today, and we see a widening set of opportunity going forward. Looking out into the future, this industry of additive manufacturing has actually grown quite a bit over the last 10 years, starting at around $2 billion a year in 2012, growing to an expected nearly $18 billion in 2021. And a substantially similar growth rate is expected over the next decade, really bringing this industry over $100 billion by 2029. And it's not surprising. Manufacturing is a giant global industry. Today, the entire global economy is about $80 trillion, and manufacturing is $13 trillion of that. Today, less than 0.1% of manufacturing is powered by additive technology. And we believe that over time, as we're able to scale the capability sets, more and more manufacturing can be done via additive, and that will really usher in these changes that we're talking about. Today here at Markforged, we're delivering real value across really all the leading edge industries that are taking humanity to our next level. from industrial automation, really, sort of changing the pace of factories, aerospace and space exploration, military and defense, healthcare and automotive. At Markforged, we're really lucky to be working with the top customers in each of these segments, really delivering game-changing technology that are going to allow us and the world around us to really change each of these industry verticals over the next several years. And the way that this is done for Markforged is that really the more that our printers are used, the smarter the system gets and the better the parts become. So it's this really great flywheel. And as we learn more about how different parts work on the printer, and by using the sensors that are built in and are able to scan these parts, we can deliver via federated fleet learning consistent improvements via over-the-air software that continually make the system better and therefore create more interest in printing more parts, which drives this wheel around. So ultimately, what we want to hear, it's a part of our culture now. And here is the CFO. He has returned from the beginning part of the presentation. He's still looking over people's shoulders, but he's pretty happy at how these printers are working. They're delivering some really great value. He sees lots of opportunities. So he's exited stage right, and we can get back to the actual work of running manufacturing operations. Thank you for your time here today. I'm now going to turn this over to Mike Cady, and he's going to talk more about what it means to be on a journey to adopt additive technology.
Good morning, and thank you, Michael Papish, for kicking off today's Tech Takeover session with the story of us. At Markforged, we are reinventing manufacturing today so that our customers can build anything they imagine tomorrow. This is founded upon the belief that if we can bring the power of agile connected software to the world of physical manufacturing, we can create one of those productivity leaps that really truly ushers in a new age of manufacturing. Over the next 30 minutes, we're going to dive into some of the details of what we call the digital forge. We'll spend time reviewing our hardware, materials, and software portfolio, highlighting the unique value our integrated platform delivers to define why Markforged and why Markforged is a great fit for Project Diamond. So the Markforged industrial 3D printing platform is purpose-built to be smart, robust, simple, and empowering. We do this by bringing the power of agile software engineering to the world of industrial manufacturing. We call this the digital forge. In 2013, we invented the digital forge, which was the world's first and only high-strength, low-cost, smart additive platform. Today, we have the world's largest and most secure fleet of connected industrial 3D printers, with about 12,000 manufacturing customers printing more than 10 million parts. We are collecting massive amounts of data that will be used to power the next generation of digital factories. At Markforged, we design intelligent 3D printing systems that continuously improve and transform the way you manufacture. So with software at the core, the digital forge provides a single user experience across the entire Markforged technology stack. We offer a full range of printers in the portfolio, from plastics to composites to metal. And we have purpose-built materials that are engineered to deliver superior strength, accuracy, and surface finish. All of these components are built and designed from the ground up to deliver a wide range of functionality in a reliable manner. By controlling all of these variables associated with the 3D print, we, Markforged, we own the entire value chain and can ensure successful outcomes for our customers. So in the context of Project Diamond, right, in less than 60 days, we implemented the Diamond Network, supporting approximately 300 businesses in Oakland and Macomb counties that enables an agile print-on-demand infrastructure for PPE in emergency response situations. In addition, this network will serve as the foundation to support future diversification via a digital e-commerce marketplace for B2B commercialization. The Digital Forge itself offers a simple, smart, scalable additive manufacturing platform built and designed on this secure cloud-connected architecture. So the Digital Forge enables machine learning that makes the platform better each part it prints. The Digital Forge printer functionality and capability is constantly enhanced via ongoing OTA or over-the-air updates, which provide software feature releases delivered through the Markforged cloud architecture. There's no network, no compute, no storage required, and little or no IT operational burden to implement and support this application. So this provides organizations with what I would call a true borderless experience for global connectivity and collaboration, as well as maximum visibility within your organization. It becomes very easy to manage printers across multiple geographies. Markforged is transforming manufacturing today, leveraging a broad portfolio of 3D plastic, composite, and metal printers capable of producing parts tough enough for the factory floor. The Diamond Network has deployed and adopted all of the products that you see here on the screen. Everything from our Professional Series Mark II continuous fiber desktop product to the Industrial Composite X7 to our Metal X Sinter 2 print farms. In addition to the hardware portfolio, the Digital Forge platform offers a wide range of materials, unlocking a broad set of applications for our customers. Markforged is the only company who offers a portfolio that spans plastics to composites to metal via a single user experience across the entire portfolio. And that enables our customer base to scale quickly and reduce any or limit any ongoing operational burden that is associated with this type of technology. Cloud computing is only possible when we prioritize the security of our data. So we believe that every product and engineering decision that we make at Markforged has a security component to it, and our customers and their data are at the center of all of these decisions. So a couple things to note. Markforged offers the most secure additive platform in the world. We believe we're the only platform with ISO 27001 certification, and that's across organizational security, customer data, software and supplier relationships. And that's further underscored by the fact that Markforged is the only additive manufacturing company in the DoD manufacturing consortium. And frankly, we're committed to being extremely transparent about our security practices, and we are continuously improving our security program to ensure we're exceeding security standards of our customers. In sum, the Digital Forge is an extremely scalable, easy to use, purpose-built system that works securely and reliably. Okay, so now that you have a good understanding of the Digital Forge, let's talk software. So the powerful prep and print software developed by Markforged is called Eiger. Eiger is free and readily accessible at the website here at the bottom left of the slide. Eiger was intentionally built for scale, delivering, again, a single user experience, a digital part repository, and global fleet management across the entire network. Eiger is in part a slicing program, which converts physical CAD geometry to an encrypted print file format that is used by our printers. Eiger also provides a streamlined way to go from design file to perfect part with our best-in-class Markforged slicer. It's real simple. You import the STL, you set your print parameters, save your part, and your part saves as a MFP file that can only be decrypted by the endpoints in our printer portfolio. To expand a little bit on Eiger or Core Eiger, we call it. It's a cloud-based application. It runs through a Google Chrome web browser. All the technology from Markforged uses Eiger, which means it's the same experience whether you're leveraging our plastic, composite, or metal products. It's one service and support model for your entire fleet, and it's one hand to shake. This system has been engineered and designed again to be simple, scalable, and easy to use. The cloud solution architecture is built on best-in-class security program, as we mentioned. The Digital Forge is an end-to-end solution for deploying digital factories in any industry. One platform, one experience, one solution, one hand to shake. We have the ability to trigger remote prints to any printer from any location in the Eiger org. We can manage the entire fleet via a single pane of glass. You have access to single source of the truth, digital inventory, and print on demand capabilities. And lastly, seamless deployment of new features and capabilities via the OTA or over-the-air updates that we mentioned a few moments ago. A couple areas of additional functionality to call out. Our customers, these are things our customers really dig about the Core Eiger platform. Prior to printing, Eiger tells you what your cost and lead time is, tells you the volume and weight in advance of the print. It also allows you to establish preset builds. So you're not limited to printing, the same part. You can print any combination of parts, assuming the build materials and layer heights are the same. You can also save these builds for future reference. So we have a lot of customers that have multi-part assemblies that they'll save as a build. So you can call those up on demand, print them on demand. And lastly, batch printing. You have the option to do kind of like a multi-up. So in this example, you see 4 parts, 4 of the same parts at once. You'll get a summarized version of the build time, the cost, and material usage as you make changes to that batch print. And this frankly allows the user to optimize based on time and cost metrics if needed. With Core Eiger asset monitoring via our integrated dashboard with KPIs allows for global connectivity and full visibility into your Eiger organization. That enables you to easily track usage, utilization, et cetera, from a single platform. Specifically, couple key areas would be real-time metrics that are tracked and are available to be exported to a CSV file, such as devices, users and prints, material utilization, build time analytics, device utilization, and uptime. Just a couple of key things to point out. The Digital Forge is prideful of its long history of innovation centered around market-driven technical development. The core system itself continues to improve over time at no additional cost to the customer. The Digital Forge is always adapting as it continues to learn and grow over time, delivering more and more value to our customer base across hardware, materials, and software. And at the end of the day, because we're always adapting, we're intrinsically future-proofing our customers' investments that they've made in Markforged. As you can see here over the years, there are many proof points that exist reinforcing the point that when customers invest in the Digital Forge platform, we like to say when you make that investment, the solution is going to be the worst it's ever going to be in your environment. Again, the system keeps learning and getting smarter over time. Now that you have a baseline understanding of our software, let's talk about hardware. So the Markforged industrial portfolio is made up of extremely reliable and robust hardware. So what Markforged has done, we've instrumented the industrial composite platform with a full sensor suite and a 1 micron laser micrometer, which is the driving force behind the industry leading automation and quality of the platform. What sets the industrial composite platform apart from others alike is the level of automation that is incorporated into this product. So this automation exists to provide a seamless and reliable customer experience to the end user and provides exceptional accuracy. So the industrial composite platform can routinely print parts with an accuracy of plus or minus 50 micron. Now, that 1 micron laser micrometer that's on board, the print head, serves a variety of functions that are highlighted here, such as adaptive bed leveling, active print calibration, as well as in-process inspection. These laser and production monitoring capabilities increase overall print reliability and print uptime for our customers. And last but not least, the industrial composite flagship product, the Markforged X7, also offers an onboard camera that provides users the ability to remotely check in on their prints and even remotely kick off a print. The robust hardware offering from Markforged also offers a best-in-class surface finish with extremely smooth surface quality at very high resolutions that, again, set the industrial composite platform apart from others alike in the industry. Okay, so with this foundational understanding of the world's initial, cloud-first software solution for additive manufacturing and the robust capabilities of our industrial composite, or I should say our industrial hardware platform, let's now build on that knowledge and get you introduced to the world's first continuous fiber reinforcement printing solution. Continuous fiber reinforcement is a unique and patented process from Markforged that unlocks massive potential on the manufacturing floor for our customers. As mentioned, Markforged invented this continuous fiber reinforcement process, delivering unmatched strength in our industry. The matrix material that we use is called onyx. Onyx was developed by Markforged, and by definition, it's a composite in and of itself. It consists of a mixture of nylon and chopped short strands of carbon fiber. And interestingly enough, the chopped carbon fiber was not added for strength, but it was added for stability and printability. So the short strand carbon fiber helps prevent drastic changes as the material is heated and cooled, thus resulting in very beautiful and accurate parts. Onyx by itself is extremely strong. It's 20% stronger than ABS and about 40% stiffer. The dramatic increase in strength, though, from the Markforged platform comes from the addition of continuous fibers to the parts. So the Markforged technology offers the unique ability to integrate continuous strands of carbon fiber, Kevlar, fiberglass, and high strength, high temperature fiberglass into your parts. And each of these fibers were selected and engineered to allow you as the user to tackle a wide variety of problems. At the end of the day, CFR is 11x stronger than Onyx and about 25 times stronger than ABS plastic. And customers, as a result, are replacing legacy plastic and traditionally manufactured steel and aluminum parts with this Markforged proprietary continuous fiber reinforced composites capability. So here's an example of real world strength that can be attained through 3D printing continuous fiber parts This is a chain link that was printed by the Olin College of Engineering with continuous carbon fiber strands on a Markforged printer, and it eventually broke at 22,000 pounds. Okay, so now that we've got an understanding of the Markforged composite capabilities, let's shift gears a little bit, no pun intended, and talk metal. Markforged has iterated and optimized the printing of a suspended solid filament very accurately for the last 6 years. The robust system utilized on the X7 was partially leveraged in the design and development of the Metal X system. So the printer process is a simple extrusion style process, or FDM process, which builds parts layer by layer. The Markforged metal system offers safe and accessible metal printing at 1/10 the cost of traditional metal printing technologies. There's no loose metal powders. As you can see, no respirators required, no purpose-built room needed, minimal PPE, and minimal facility requirements. The process has very easy self-service material changeover, and it's frankly just a very simple metal printing process. In terms of accuracy, it's a near net shape process. The printer can print down to 50 micron resolution for very detailed parts. In general, for small parts, the accuracy is about 125 microns. The good news is that the parts printed on the Metal X can be post-processed just like a traditional cast part. You can heat treat them, you can weld them, you can machine them, you can tap them. So if you need a higher level of accuracy, you can achieve this through a post-machining step. The Metal X itself is uniquely suited for a broad range of parts at a relatively low cost. It is not well suited for large parts, intricate features, and high volume production numbers. The Metal X system employs, as mentioned, a very simple process that makes manufacturing complex and robust metal parts very simple and accessible. With over 170 patents and pending patents, Markforged offers a unique solution whereby scale is our advantage, right? The more customers we have, the more information and part data we collect. The software gets smarter. We take that intelligence, we bring it back to our customer base, and as an outcome, the system is constantly improving. We're getting better parts, and you're getting more out of your investment. This scale has resulted in a global fleet of connected customers who are taking advantage of the Digital Forge platform to help shape and transform their manufacturing processes as they continue on their additive journey. Okay, so busy page, but you may ask, why Markforged? So here's 13 good reasons why customers invest in an additive manufacturing partnership with Markforged. At the end of the day, Markforged breaks down the barriers to adoption of these transformational manufacturing processes with a couple key things, right? Production grade systems and materials at disruptive pricing levels that drastically reduce shop labor and overhead. The printers have built-in machine calibration and inspection, producing reliable and repeatable parts to satisfy the most stringent requirements. We have durable composites, revolutionary continuous fibers, and a wide portfolio of metals. The overarching software platform is designed to automate process, remove steep learning curves, and is frankly safe and easy to operate in a wide range of environments. Continuing, why Markforged? We like to talk about partnering with Markforged. So look, we believe that partnerships go well beyond the technology. It's the people and process that we wrap around the technology that drives transformation and overall success for our customers. I think that point, it's a key point, and it's underscored very well here by Deloitte, where they say, successfully implementing and scaling AM technology to an industrial level, it requires organizations to look well beyond the machinery or the technology, right? At Markforged, we are a market-driven enterprise technology and engagement organization. And again, that spans from people, process, and technology. So in the context of people, from strategic partnerships to our global network to Markforged University, we've got the people in our ecosystem behind the solution to help you alongside your additive journey. From a process perspective, Markforged offers a broad range of consulting services, education and enablement, as well as integration and automation to truly optimize our customers' investments in additive. And last but not least, the technology, right? So a very comprehensive and secure industry-leading manufacturing platform that was designed for scale. It is an outcome of this partnership approach and the why Markforged items that we previously reviewed that connected Markforged and Automation Alley to go on this journey together. So what are we doing in the context of Project DIAMOnD to help evangelize the program and amplify its value through the digital production network that's been deployed? So currently, local government has the ability to issue orders for emergency PPE production to the manufacturers in the network who are plugged in. And these manufacturers can also take advantage of this advanced technology to drive transformation in their business, which we'll talk about some of those use cases here in a little bit, whether it's securing a competitive edge, driving costs down, improving turnaround times, or even improving manufacturing and life cycle efficiency in their existing processes. Moving forward, efforts are being invested to help further monetize the network to benefit the grantees of the program, with greater sights on the network as an additive manufacturing e-commerce marketplace. At the end of the day, it's an opportunity to help build a new type of production network and supply chain to further strengthen manufacturing in the US and specifically here in the state of Michigan. To execute on this production network vision, a customer success program is critical path to driving adoption, utilization, and value realization necessary to advance and optimize the network's preparedness for the future marketplace. So the view that you see here represents how important the people and process component of DIAMOnD really is. It's a core requirement and business driver behind the overall success of the program. As you can see, there's the technology investment on the left side of the screen. I would argue that the investment made in people and process to deploy the technology and to help drive education, understanding, adoption, utilization through some of the programs you see here on the right, as well as to support the network. That is while the technology is unique in of itself, the people and process side of the house is really what drives enablement and unlocks value for the network. I'll build this out. So Markforged, in partnership with Automation Alley, we created a program that would facilitate this journey to additive maturity for the constituents or the grantees in the network, we intentionally plan tactics that would help DIAMOnD grantees prepare for the implementation of an advanced technology like this, which was frankly to many new to their business. And we did that through proactive and self-service onboarding materials, such as quick start guides, unboxing videos, and webinars. As we started fulfillment of the product, we hosted open office hours, one-on-one meetings with grantees, provided training via Markforged University, and have consistently engaged with grantees in the Automation Alley team to provide ongoing support, information, et cetera, during lunch and learns and ongoing meetings with the stakeholders of the program. Arguably, in my opinion, the most important part of this journey is optimization. Experience with our customers shows us that fully mature organizations hit value realization through expanded application identification, strategic implementations, and building a manufacturing culture around additive. And this is the phase that we're intently focused on, or have been focused on since day one, but are really starting to execute now. And the program in of itself offers dedicated local and virtual support. We've got dedicated customer success team, dedicated customer success engineer. I'm sure you guys, many of you know Nolan and Zach, who are leading the charge. We have a DIAMOnD online user community, and the Markforged professional services organization continues to deliver ongoing additive services to continue to foster and grow additive culture within the network. Okay, so this is an eye chart, but I was like, I kind of went back and I was like, man, what are all the things that we put together to drive success? And they're represented here. Look, data and metrics that we have access to right now are, and early indicators are quickly demonstrating not only the value of the Digital Forge platform, but our ability to quickly and easily scale an implementation of this size. But more importantly, selecting a strategic partner that can deliver on the vision with a well laid out people and process execution plan around the technology investment. So the DIAMOnD network, what's unique here is the DIAMOnD network didn't have the added benefit of what we would call a routine pre-sales campaign that we're normally engaged in, right? Whereby a lot of knowledge, education, and learning occur, such as application fit, business value, opportunities for monetization, et cetera, which are all usually covered in partnership together over a 3 to 6 to 9 to 12 month, right, pre-sales campaign. In addition, many of the community members that are part of this program weren't sure exactly how they were going to adopt additive and how it would work within their business. At Markforged, we understand the importance of knowledge and learning and the importance of onboarding, enablement, and education, not only pre-sales, but during the implementation phase, because it's critical to adoption and getting utilization out of the investment and deriving value realization and overall success of any additive engagement. So this understanding was the driver behind the scope of the customer success program we created and implemented for DIAMOnD. And in closing here, as mentioned, it's simply not just about the technology. It is about the people and process around that technology. Within the first 90 days of this program, we're seeing the value of the customer success program pay off for DIAMOnD members based upon the performance metrics that are being generated and monitored. So the network install-based performance has demonstrated that the program's focus on customer success has quickly fostered growth and learning which is driving adoption and utilization in a very, very short amount of time. And as a result, look, we're excited for the road ahead as we further optimize the network to drive long-term value for the stakeholders involved. Please reach out to Nolan and Zach from our customer success team. If you want to schedule a one-on-one appointment and on-site, you want to attend a weekly lunch and learn at Automation Alley. We'll be hosting those once COVID lifts here. And also feel free to take advantage of our open office hours, because frankly, your success is our success, and we're in it to win it. It's a partnership. So please don't be shy, and let's enjoy the ride. On behalf of Markforged, I just want to thank everyone for your time and participation in today's Tech Takeover. Please feel free to reach out at any time. In the meantime, I'd like to pass the mic over to our customer success manager for Project DIAMOnD, Zach Rosenzweig, who's going to introduce you to 3 DIAMOnD customer success stories. So Zach, the floor is yours. Please take us home, my friend.
Hello, everyone. My name is Zach Rosenzweig, and I am the customer success manager here at Markforged. I am joined today by a few of our Project DIAMOnD customers. They're going to tell us about their adoption of the technology, about their experience with 3D printing and Markforged, and most importantly for all of us to hear is the successes they've experienced using additive manufacturing in their business. The first customer that I have the pleasure of being with is Steve Michon of Zero Tolerance CNC. He's going to go over his experience from past, present, and future when it comes to additive manufacturing and Markforged technology. I will pass it over to Steve now to give a quick intro about yourself and your company. Steve, thank you for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me. Yeah, my name is Steve. I own Zero Tolerance. We build plastic injection molds for all kinds of applications, from consumer goods to medical to military. So we design, build in-house, and we have all the equipment to do it here. I know a lot of companies outsource things to China, which most people aren't doing much of right now, but it's still being done. So we pride ourselves on making things here in the U.S. And we like to have everything in-house and try to control it all, and which is tough to do. So having a network of people that you know, that you can trust and work with is key to our success here, especially in Michigan. So that's about what we do. I mean, there's a lot of good things that I see coming as far as products and services that we are dealing with and that we provide. So that rounds up our company.
Awesome. Steve, thank you so much for that. And for the summary of what you guys are doing there, as well as kind of your insight into the future. Let's jump into talking about 3D printing and additive manufacturing. Before you received your X7 Markforged 3D printer, tell me about your expectations or your opinions of 3D printing prior to jumping into Project DIAMOnD here.
Well, that's a good question. I've dealt with MakerBots and the lower cost versions of 3D printing for a few years, just as a hobby. And I know some of the limitations of them and how it's frustrating to get them to print sometimes, more than not, I would say. Printing ABS and PLA and stuff like that. So I tinker with that stuff. I like the CAD, so I draw a lot of things. My kids like me to print them things. So you'll see me print a sword or whatever I need to for my kids. But I've had a lot of fun with it, and it's very interesting, but I really didn't see a good way to use it in our industry, in our shop. And one thing I didn't mention is that we do injection molding also at our facility, which is recent in the last couple of years, but that's starting to grow. And I think a lot of it is due to the additive manufacturing, where people can bring a concept to life much faster than before, and we skip the prototype stage and we go right to production. So it's helped my business, which a lot of people thought it would not. They thought 3D printing would take over injection molding and mold building, and it really hasn't. I think it's accelerated it.
Awesome. Well, wonderful. So now that you have your machine, tell me about your expectations. Have they been beat? I assume. Tell me about your opinion now with additive manufacturing, with your X7 technology. What can you tell me about your current state of additive manufacturing and how it's impacting your business?
Well, I'm blown away by it actually. I've fought with it with the PLA and ABS type printing, and I did not expect it to do what it does. The X7 that we have, it actually, I guess, solved all the problems that I had with my hobby style machine, and the strength of the composites blows me away. I've dealt with composites in the injection molding world, and I know that material you do have, that onyx is tough stuff by itself. So for me, that machine and what it does is light years ahead of what I thought it could do. To be able to print something, a tool in the shop, and run it and use it the next day is unbelievable. The strength and stiffness that it creates for something that's realistically, I made it overnight and I can use it the next day. That's priceless.
Awesome. Great to hear. Those are all of our intentions and goals. So we're glad to hear that that's coming true for you and your business. Let's jump to the next question. And you kind of mentioned what you used to be making with 3D printing. You mentioned swords. Before you got this machine and right at the beginning, when this X7 was installed, tell me about some of the first parts you were making using the machine.
Well, honestly, the first part I made was a little tiny piece that I couldn't print any other way that I've tried on my little MakerBot, I guess. I don't know if I can say that, but it was a little fin, like a 3-fin piece that you stick in a straw that we, in Boy Scouts, our kids were trying to make an arrow or a rocket out of a straw. So you print this little 3-finned piece, and it was really thin. And it was the first thing I tried because I was like really frustrated trying to make that work. And it was for my littlest kid. So I went right ahead and tried to print it, and it printed the first try. So we were throwing straws around the house. But after that, I tried another piece that I couldn't print on my other printer. And it was an air hockey goal, and it had to catch the puck at the bottom. Ours broke, and I needed to print 2 of them. And it's really thin, and it's got a large taper to it. I think it was over 45 degrees, and I didn't use support, and it still printed it perfectly. And the time I used in turbo mode, and it printed it incredibly fast, and it's extremely strong, and it solved the problem that I had on it.
So that's a great insight into what you were making before. Let's talk about what you're making now. And I have some insight, of course. There's a part that you've made that's pretty extraordinary. It's Instagram famous as well. Some of the social media that you're doing with this part is pretty impressive. Tell me about the claw. Tell me about what this part is, what it does, and what are the benefits of it for you and your business.
Well, I went through the Markforged University, just like you guys recommended, and I was like, well, when you first look at it, it's very intimidating. There's a lot of information, but I stuck to it. I went through the whole thing, and I see all the issues that I was having trying to make a structurally strong part. And you guys pretty much addressed every way that you can solve issues that I was having. So I applied all those issues or all those solutions to the design to make an end of arm tooling for our molding process. We've got a program that's ramped up in volume, and we're hand loading 8 brass inserts in this mold, and it takes the cycle times roughly 45 to 50 seconds, 60 seconds if we drop an insert. And we've been thinking about it for a long time. I would have had to spend $100,000 on an end of arm tooling and robot, and it just was not in the budget. So I designed a fixture where we could hold by hand, and it works like a grip or a brake lever on your bike. And it allows me to load 8 inserts at once, print it all in the location of the cavities of the mold, which I took the geometry from my mold design and got those locations, and I printed them in there. That was another thing that I had trouble with, is accuracy and precision in my prints, is I could never make the numbers right. because it just didn't have the accuracy, and the Markforged solved that. So I printed it to the numbers I wanted. I was able to load all these 8 inserts in there with an interference fit of about 10 thousandths on the brass piece, and it holds them in there just wonderful. And then when I use the trigger mechanism, it strips them off of the gripper feet that I made, and it loads those onto the mold for the operator, and it takes more than 10 seconds less time to do what they were doing. And there's a bunch of benefits from it that I didn't see. The operators are now have something to do while the machine's in cycle. So they're loading inserts, not wasting any time and not being bored. The machine's getting a more consistent cycle, down from 50 seconds, we're down to 30, 33 seconds. So we made a huge impact on our cycles. We can do a lot more throughput. Our customer was thrilled. We got done like 4 days early, and they had given us the material late because of shipping. So it's a huge home run on our end. I did have a complaint that ergonomics of the handle weren't perfect. When I'm drawing it, I wasn't thinking about how it was going to feel for the operator, but they ended up giving me some input, or complaining, I would say. And I ended up making more of like a steering wheel type handle, and we reprinted it. And literally we're going to be trying it today, but everyone's excited to try it. So that's
awesome.
That's where we're at today.
Well, wonderful. Can't wait to get an update on how that new part is working. And this kind of leads into the next question, the last question I have for you. So we're connecting today during this tech takeover to see where you're at now. We're going to connect on a second tech takeover later this summer to see where you're at then. Based on what you know, based on what you've experienced so far, where do you see yourself in your 3D printing adoption later this summer? A, and B, where do you see yourself beyond that?
Well, I'll have to tell you, I didn't think that we would be able to do what we're doing with it, and I think that's the mindset of a lot of owners or business or shops. Seeing this technology, yes, it's been around. There's been a lot of printers, but nobody really uses it that I know of personally. I know it's being adopted more and more as people like me get involved and apply it. So I can see. I've challenged everybody here to think of, hey, where do you see a need for a tool or a fixture or something that can help us on the floor that we can just print and test and try it, versus, hey, we got to take time out of our machines and we've got to do all this to make an idea happen. Where my goal is to hopefully really integrate this into our shop and into the offering that we make or that we have on Instagram and all that to supply a service. I've already been just last week, they heard I had a printer, and I think it may have been from Instagram. They said, hey, I saw you got a printer. I need this part printed for this this oil filter invention that I had. Can you print me one? And I might want 100 of them. And it goes right in the DIAMOnD program, because if I can't do 100 of them in a week, then I could spread out that work to the network and go from there. So I'm excited about what's coming, not only for us here, but what needs we can meet out there in the rest of the country.
Well, Steve, the experiences that you've had and the successes you've had so far are nothing short of extraordinary. And I agree. I can't wait to see what you guys are doing later this summer and beyond. I thank you again for joining me this morning here to share your successes, to share your experience with your Markforged X7 and additive manufacturing in general. And we look forward to connecting again later on this summer. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye. I have the pleasure of speaking with Josh Tucker of Tucker Induction Systems. And we're going to ask very similar questions as we just did to our previous customer to get a good understanding of their adoption of the Markforged platform and additive manufacturing in general. So Josh, I'm going to pass it to you if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, introduce your company, and tell us a little bit about what you do there at Tucker Induction.
Yeah, so my name is Josh Tucker, and I work for Tucker Induction Systems. We are an induction coil building company who specializes in induction tooling. We do our own machines, mainly the tooling side of it and applications and repair.
Awesome. Well, Josh, thank you for that update in the summary of your company. Let's jump in and talking about additive manufacturing. So looking back to before you got your Markforged platform, tell me about your opinion or at least expectations of 3D printing before getting started with Project Diamond and this program.
Yeah, so before we started with this program, we did slightly on Tucker Induction side look into the 3D printing world. We really didn't dive too deep into it. Our main thought was, can it be practical? Can we produce parts with this that can go in the field? Or is it more for prototyping, testing, basically, fitting sizes, stuff like that. So we weren't really sure how practical it would be for us in the long term in the field.
Okay, and now let's jump forward. You've had the platform for a few months. How has your expectations or opinions changed of additive manufacturing in general, as well as the Markforged platform in particular?
Well, to start off, we were wrong. We've been able to produce parts on our end already alone that have proven to withstand forces, tensions, things that they see in the field, heat, stuff that I didn't think that it could handle. But it's actually surprising that it's not just for prototyping. You can actually print parts and put them out in the field.
Amazing. That's so great to hear that you're experiencing such great successes in such a short amount of time. At this point, it's only been a few months since you had this technology introduced into your business. Now let's talk about some of the things you've printed. So looking back again to when you first installed the platform and started printing with it, what are some of the parts or some of the applications that you were printing at that point?
So the biggest hurdle for me is without having any 3D printing experience, I didn't have that train of thought that says you can print this. I myself am a machinist. So for me, everything is to be machined. So to be able to switch over to, hey, maybe I can print this, that was the biggest hurdle. So to start off printing, honestly, I was mainly finding stuff online and testing my abilities and what can be printed and what the machine likes versus what it doesn't like. It wasn't until a little bit later that I was able to think like, all right, well, we machine copper loops that has multiple setups. And one of the first things that I machined for the company was basically a mandrel for that loop that was timed with pins and held with inserted hex nuts that would locate all of the different positions for the holes that needed to go into those copper turns. So on top of that, and then mainly just some test pieces that I found to see what the machine could do.
Awesome. Great applications for the technology. What about today? What are some of the more recent things you've produced using your Markforged platform?
Yeah, so the most recent that I've produced is a spacer for a coil that we actually have out in the field. It's a product that we actually have since sold with this, by using the printer. It basically just keeps the spacing between the turns when the application is in process and the current's going through the coil. It just stops the turns from touching, because if they touch, they create a direct short. So with that spacer in there, that is now 3D printed, it prevents that direct short from happening.
And was this an application that you were previously doing using a different method, such as traditional manufacturing, or is this a brand new application that you can now utilize using additive manufacturing?
This is a new application. This is something that we have not done before.
Awesome. Amazing successes. Let's look to the future now. We're meeting today during this Tech Talk. Tech Takeover. We're also going to connect later this summer to get an update on, kind of your successes in the adoption that you've experienced. Where do you hope to be, and where do you see Tucker Induction Systems this summer, say, for example, in their adoption with 3D printing?
Yeah, so in this industry, 3D printing, to my knowledge, isn't super involved. So I like to think that Tucker Induction is one of the groundbreaking companies to get this into the market, into the system, producing coils with 3D printed parts on them. So basically, right now, I'm just learning basically the material that we're printing in, which being onyx, versus details that are on the coil that are maybe made out of G10 or Delrins that can be replaced with the 3D printed parts. So as far as in the summer, I'd like to have a lot more 3D printed details in the field on the coils, whether they be supports or tie straps, whatever it may be. I'd like to have more out into the field, and at this pace, we're going to.
Awesome. And looking beyond the summer, with what you know about the Markforged platform, with what you know about our technology, where do you see Tucker beyond into the future? What is kind of the North Star when it comes to additive manufacturing using our platform for your company?
So the biggest for us is metal printing. That's something that I myself and the owner is really interested in, and we believe that once a few kinks are kind of worked out that kind of help match and mesh with our industry, we believe that that will be a game changer. So in my opinion, our North Star is being able to print metal, copper in specific. We believe that that's going to be huge, especially in like a desktop fashion. That's something that is going to be a game changer in our industry, and that's something that we are pushing for. So for us, it's perfect that we were able to be a part of Project DIAMOnD, not only to help if need be, and God forbid we have another pandemic, but also to get our toes in the water, to be able to start messing with 3D printing. I understand that 3D printing metal is completely different, but the concept is there. So to be able to get our brain switched over to thinking about additive instead of machining is a huge concept for us. The downside to that is, and I've noticed this myself, is I just want to 3D print everything. And it's sometimes it's not practical, but we're going to try it.
Absolutely. And that's the benefit of the technology. You can iterate quick, you can try things, you can really take advantage of the speed and the ability of these parts in the platform in general. Well, Josh, thank you again for joining me today. The successes that Tucker Induction have experienced already are nothing short of amazing. The partnership that we have together has been great. And as you noted, our platform is set up for growth and set up for success. And we look forward to many more years of great parts and great applications and a great partnership between our company and yours. So again, thank you for joining me here. And we look forward to connecting later this summer to see how things are going.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. We are now joined by Jeremy Sanger of Puritan Automation and Ventec here to share some more about his successes when it comes to the Markforged platform and additive manufacturing in general. Jeremy, please go ahead and introduce yourself and your companies.
All right. Hello, Zach. This is Jeremy Sanger. I'm the president and CEO of two small companies in Wixom, Michigan. One is called Ventec, and one is called Puritan Automation. Well, Puritan Automation builds automation, which will be quite clear from the name. Ventec, we have developed and patented it's an automotive or it's a diesel engine component that generates instantaneous engine heat. So in diesel engines, when they tend to run cold if they're not loaded, we have a technology that ensures that diesel engines run at full temperature, and we sell the product into all sorts of applications where low load engines have problems, wet stacking and so forth. So at Ventec, we do a lot of product development. We actually have a contract manufacturer who builds our products. So really in our facility, we do all the R&D. And we've had some experience with 3D printers. When this opportunity to join the Automation Alley team came along, it was a great, it was pretty exciting to us because we've been very dependent on third parties for 3D printed parts. A little bit of background of our experience before we got the Markforged machines. In the very early days, we would actually basically hand mill some of these complex components inside our product. So I'll hold up a part very quickly. You'll see this spiral rotor. This is it looks like a turbine blade. This is a complicated component to manufacture. And we were prototyping these on mills, on CNC mills. Then when 3D printers became available through contract resources, we would pay companies to grow these parts for us. Very, very expensive. A few years ago, we decided to experiment ourselves, and we bought a very low-cost FDM machine. I forget the brand, it was $1,000 machine. And we were able to print parts, but really it was for no other purpose than look at the part. You couldn't use it, they weren't dimensionally correct, and they certainly weren't very strong. We then migrated to a low-cost stereolithography machine, which was a huge step up from our first FDM machine. But again, it was limited in the composites that you could use and the strength of the part. So when we got the Markforged machines, we were very excited because this onyx material has a pretty terrific spec, and the fact that you could infill it with carbon fiber or glass fiber was very appealing, because obviously it can strengthen the part. So on the Ventec side, we started building prototypes using the Markforged printers, and we can actually make parts now that we can run inside our device. So these components are spinning at up to 6,000 RPM. We're running heated coolant through them at 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're able to make a design change, run it through the printer, have the parts in the morning, and test. And it's just dramatically shortened up the prototyping time. You know, if we want to make a tweak, if we want to change something, we can do multiple iterations in a week, where it used to take multiple weeks to do one iteration. So it's really been a godsend.
Well, that's fantastic, Jeremy. It sounds like the successes you've had already in just a few short months have been amazing. Let's talk about the two pieces of our platform that are behind you there. The X7 Industrial and the Mark II Desktop. You know, you had experience in 3D printing prior to joining Project Diamond. No experience yet in Markforged platform. What can you tell me about the expectations or the opinion you had prior to? And then what's your opinion about the platform, including the software, including the material selection, the reinforcement capabilities? What is your opinion like today regarding the platform?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I'll be candidly honest, because when I heard that these machines were FDM machines, I was a little bit anxious about that, because my first experience with 3D printers, I was reading it, I can't remember the brand, it was a FlashForge Creator, which is a hobbyist desktop $1,000 machine, and that's FDM. And that printed PLA and I forget the other material. Anyway, we primarily printed PLA, and the quality was very, very poor. We had terrible problems with delamination on that machine. So you'd make a part, but you could sort of peel it open because it didn't laminate properly. So when I heard that these, and after we got the FlashForge, we went to a stereolithography machine, which is a very, very good quality printer, but the material, even though they've got a pretty good selection of materials, it doesn't work for us very well in a dynamic component. So going back to an FDM machine, the Markforged machine, I was a little anxious. I wasn't impressed with the low-cost machine. And we ran this machine, and I was just blown away at what came out the other end. I mean, we did our first prints. The finish, especially on flat surface parts, you know, you can't see any layering. It is dimensionally superb. You wouldn't think it was an FDM machine, you know, if you didn't know. So certainly, I feel completely reassured that an FDM machine is a good solution for us. The other thing I'd tell you is in past experiences, you know, I used to sort of rate our machines as what percentage of wins you would get from a print. You know, for every 5 prints, you probably have 2 aborted prints and 3 good ones. That can get very frustrating when you're waiting 24 hours for a print. And again, that was especially susceptible on our original FDM machine. Getting this machine, it's been very, very easy to use. We've got a nice setup here. We have a little 3D printer room here. We'll set the machine up. Our guys are doing their training, but quite frankly, it's pretty intuitive how to use the slicer program. We'll talk about that in a second. And you know, the machine is easy to set up. It doesn't, so far, we've not had to do much tinkering. I like the laser leveling feature. You know, periodically we double check the leveling, but generally we just keep printing, and it requires very, very little maintenance. What was also nice with this machine, unlike our stereolithography machine, is there's no post-printing processes to do. There's no curing, there's no cleaning. Obviously, you need to take off the scaffolding and so forth. But on the stereolithography machine, we have to UV cure it, and we have to put it through an alcohol bath and so forth. Where this, it comes out and it's ready to handle. Regarding the Eiger slicing software, again, I really have no complaints. It's very intuitive. You helped me the other week on us trying to understand how to optimize the fiber layering, and really we just haven't read the book enough to understand it. You were very helpful there. You know, it's been a breeze. It really has been a breeze. Our engineers are getting a kick out of it because now they can go from their SolidWorks or Inventor, whatever they're running over in the other room, and immediately come out here. In fact, yesterday evening we had a customer come in. They wanted to see if we could grow a little gearbox housing for them. My engineer set it up, put it on the printer. The customer came back this morning and picked it up, and he was just enamored that we could do this so quickly. So, you know, it's early days. We've been running this now for a couple of months, but it's clearly a positive progression in our evolution of using 3D printers. Our hobbyist machine was a joke. Our state lithography machine is a great machine, but it doesn't make such robust components. And the FDM machines are great. And also, what is nice about having the Mark 7 is, or the X7, is build space. So with the prior lithography machine and with the Mark II, we have a smaller build space. But your Mark II is built big enough for us to make really any component of our engine accessory. The housings, the internal components can all be produced on that smaller machine. And on the Puritan side, to build tooling, end effector tooling, bracketry, and so forth, it's nice having the bigger build space.
Awesome. Well, Jeremy, you've hit on literally every single one of our value points to our customers: the ease of use, the robust parts, the intuitive digital forge platform, all said and done. I mean, we're really glad that you're having successes and you're experiencing everything we want you to experience and more. One last quick question. We talked about what you're doing today. We talked about what you were doing in the past. Real quick, when we meet again at the next tech takeover later this summer, and we get an update on how things are going, where do you expect your company to be at that point in your adoption of 3D printing?
Well, it's a good question. And you know, the last few minutes I've spoken heavily about what we do on the Ventec side of our engine accessory. On the Puritan side, you know, we build automation, we build custom automation machines. We've just received a contract a few days ago, and we've had the customer approve that the tooling, the end effector tooling and the nesting in this assembly line is going to be made out of Onyx from a 3D printer rather than CNC milled aluminum block. And we got the customer's approval. We've assured them that if there's any compromise, we'll take care of it. But they're excited to see us use, you know, modern technology, to use this approach to doing tooling. And you know, when we do automation, the customer is often changing tooling, and that can be burdensome if we've got to start, you know, cutting chips to get into a block of aluminum. So to be able to quickly reprint a tooling or an end effector because the customer's changing his parts, you know, it seems to be very attractive to our customers. Certainly, I like it. You know, we can get frustrated trying to chase never-ending changes from the customer. So on the Puritan side, we're pretty excited about implementing 3D printed, you know, rapid prototype parts for a production machine. You know, it's a machine going into the production environment. We have, you know, high expectations of the durability of this material and the tensile strength of it. So yeah, I mean, I'm really pushing my engineers to look. You know, we've got these capabilities here in the building. You know, we're sort of lucky to have them because I don't know if we could have afforded this caliber of machine on our own. And you know, I'm pushing our engineering team to make the most of them, and they are really engaging. You know, the opportunity. I mean, already our two key engineers are working through the training, and you know, the first month or so, I was the conduit to the printer, and now I'm saying, you know, go in this room, knock yourself out, you know, get it working. And I've really not been asked any questions. The engineers have come in here, they've worked out how to use it, and they're walking out with parts. And that's really encouraging. It's inspiring the engineers, and I think it's going to open a lot more opportunities for us in both companies, you know, having this capability.
Amazing, amazing. I have no doubt that, you know, these jobs that you're working on and these new applications are going to be successful. You know, with you and your team at the helm of running this platform, I'm excited to see what you'll bring to the table this summer. Well, Jeremy, that's all I have today. Thank you again for connecting with me and sharing your successes with myself and the greater community. And we look forward to connecting again later this summer.
Zach, you're welcome. Nice to talk to you again.
Thanks,
Bye.
Jeremy.
Thank you, Michael, Mike, and Zach from Markforged for speaking today, as well as Steve from Zero Tolerance, Josh from Tucker Induction Systems, and Jeremy from Puritan Automation for sharing your 3D printing stories. We will be reaching out with answers and contacts for any questions in the Q&A that were unable to be answered. Also, keep an eye out for our July 14th Tech Takeover, where we will be touching base with the companies interviewed today to see the progress they've made with their 3D printers over the last 4 months. As for our next Tech Takeover, it will be April 7th about cyber compliance made simple and affordable with MetalOps. Just a reminder that this event and all of our Tech Takeovers are archived on our website for you to view later, so feel free to share those within your company, with prospects, with friends. This is great Industry 4.0 content, so make sure you get that out. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day.